Hello, everyone. This is John Munoz, City of Santa Fe Parks and Recreation Department. Thank you very much for joining us again today. I want to take this time to also thank you very much for continuing to write positive comments, like, and sharing our show as we try to do outreach and come to your home and provide content that you can utilize. I have two very special guests with me today, Yvette Serrano and Tomas Rivera, wonderful treasures in our community, and they are wonderful community servants. And we'll be sharing some of the strategies and some of the help, some of the resources that they are utilizing out in the community to keep us safe and healthy during this crisis with coronavirus. One of the things that we also want to do is, and we've received positive feedback, is share the information also in Spanish. So we'll be shifting gears a little bit and speaking a little Spanish as well. So with this, I'd like to turn it over to Tomas and tell us a little bit about your organization and what you have been doing in the city during these uncertain times. Tomas.
Yes, thank you, John. Thanks for having us. So yeah, my name is Tomas Rivera. I am with Chainbreaker Collective. Chainbreaker is a membership-led economic and environmental justice organization. We've been in Santa Fe doing our organizing work since 2004. We have a membership of over 700 dues-paying members, the bulk of whom are low-income people of color, and really are on the front of this COVID-19 health emergency, on the economic fallout that's facing it right now. And so we're really doing our best to make sure that our folks and the people in our community and the people in our membership and the people who live in our neighborhoods and the city as a whole really understand how we can protect each other right now in the short term, in the recovery period, and also in the long term, because we know that there's going to be a lot of long-reaching effects of this pandemic. So that's what Chainbreaker is. We've been doing work around housing and transportation justice for the last 15 years. We will continue to do that, and we will do everything we can in the midst of this pandemic to make sure that people stay safe in the crisis and in the long-term and recovery period.
That's wonderful, Tomas. You all have done some just outstanding work. One of the things that we'd like to cover between you and Yvette is how are you keeping your services going? You briefly mentioned that, but again, we're doing this conference call, this talk digitally over video and not actually in person. And so we're practicing social distance, or Susana distancia in Spanish. Keep your distance safely. So what are some of the strategies that you, Yvette, and the rest of your team are doing to keep your services going?
Yes, I think I can speak briefly to that, and then I can turn it over to Yvette. Well, like everybody, we are practicing what we're calling solidarity distancing, which is a way that we know helps stop the spread or slow the spread of the COVID-19 virus. So typically, we do a lot of work where members come in, we talk to them about the issues around housing and transportation and just civil rights and all of that in general, and do organizing around that. It is very difficult to do that when we have to stay in distance from each other. So our offices have been closed to the public and will remain so until we know that it's safe to go out. We have a project that helps people get bikes that can't afford them otherwise. For a bicycle resource center that's usually open on Sundays. We've had to also close that down during this time, or I should say put it on pause. It will come back again in time. But we've had to do just, what everybody else has. Practice social distancing, make sure we protect people, and also remember that, a lot of us, as we're staying home, a lot of the folks on the forefront of this crisis don't have a home to go home to. They can't stay there, or they have to keep going into work. They have children there, so this really lifts up all of the issues that we've been working on in our community, has been living with through this whole time. So I think we're just like everybody else. We're trying to learn and adapt to the changes that are happening every hour. We're practicing good practices of social distancing, of solidarity distancing, as we put it, and we put together a list of what we're calling community care principles. I think it's important to remember in this time that we're a resilient community. As people, we come together, we take care of each other, we figure out how to protect each other in the immediate term, the recovery period, and the long term. And so I know that Yvette has those in front of her, and she can maybe speak to the community care principles a little bit.
Yeah, so the community care principles we broke down into 3 groups. The first being that we want to protect the physical health of our community members and those that are most vulnerable to the effects of COVID. Some of the things that we're practicing is like you've already heard is keeping our distancing, solidarity distancing, we're calling it, remaining 6 feet away, practicing good hygiene, washing our hands, some of the same things that you've probably been hearing. The second is that we want to protect the mental and emotional health of ourselves and our community by remaining calm for ourselves and for others. We want to use self-care practices to help each of us individually and remember that we're not alone, that we can still communicate via phone, text, and the internet, which has been really helpful for us. And then doing our best to maintain healthy bodies by staying active. And the third one is that we want to organize to protect the lives and the livelihoods of those that are most impacted by this. Like Tomas was saying, a lot of our members don't have a place to go to. A lot of them are homeless. A lot of people are dealing with, a lot of them use public and rely on public transportation, so that's another thing. And understanding that like people can't just stay home. A lot of our base is still working. So a lot of people come into the service industry and hospitality, and so understanding that we can't just stay home and some of us have to keep working. So we want to address some of those things and work to pass mindful policies that protect people from evictions, raids, and systemic abuses that are happening during this time.
Yeah, this crisis has affected just so much of it. It was just, you're right. So, some folks are still working. Some rely on public transportation, and there's just so much vulnerability. So this is really the time to continue to connect with kindness and to help out wherever we can. So whether it's physical safety, you're correct, or just other economic vulnerability. So one of the things that maybe we could talk about also, and maybe shift gears a little bit, is reach out to the rest of our community, perhaps in Spanish. So, ¿qué me pueden decir de este concepto que le dicen social distancing o Susana distancia, not Susanna? Susana distancia, as far as keeping separate. So part of my team is still working. They're still working on parks and keeping up the parks, maintaining, keeping them beautiful so that people can go out and stretch their legs a little bit, again, with social distance, or walk the trails. And so I go around and do quality checks. I saw, tres abuelitos, 3 granddads, sitting together. They were adorable. As all get out, they were on the same bench, still talking to each other, and that's a risk, especially at that age. So, ¿qué podemos hacer? ¿Qué podemos explicar de cómo nos podemos cuidar de este virus?
Bueno, una de las cosas que podemos hacer, que es lo más importante, es mantener nuestra distancia, cosas que han escuchado, lavarse las manos, y tener un buen cuidado de mantener su distancia y todo eso. Y luego también queremos proteger la salud mental de nuestros miembros y de nuestra comunidad, y luego organizarnos igualmente para proteger las vidas y los medios de subsistencia de las personas que son más afectadas. Pero también entendemos que sería buena idea tener diálogo en español completo para que la gente tenga más espacio y más tiempo, porque creo que cuando hacemos así llamadas bilingües, que muchas veces no le dedicamos lo suficiente tiempo al idioma en español o cualquier idioma que le dedicamos a inglés. Entonces, si podríamos hacer una llamada en español completa, estaría mejor para nosotros.
Sí, es buena idea y vamos a llegar allí eventualmente porque es muy importante. Y de llamadas, hablando de, es importante porque los abuelitos, la tía, el tío van a estar en casa. Si tienen cuestiones de salud, van a estar en casa. Es importante más que nunca de llamar y cómo estás abuelo, cómo estás abuela, cómo estás tío, qué está pasando, todo está bien. Eso es también sumamente importante. Y quizás con trabajando juntos podemos hacer estas llamadas, estos foros en español y tener más material en español que está traducido. ¿Hay recursos o hay otros lugares en que podemos mandar a gente o ayudarnos? ¿Qué más se puede hacer?
Bueno, yo creo que uno de los recursos que nosotros con quienes estamos trabajando es Somos un Pueblo Unido, y yo creo que ellos están haciendo un buen trabajo. Entonces yo recomendaría que vayan a Somos un Pueblo Unido porque ellos están haciendo esto, están haciendo el trabajo.
Sí, ustedes están haciendo un buen
O
trabajo.
que llamen en esos momentos, no que vayan.
Yeah.
Que llamen, sí. Ya. O
Y
Tomás,
también nuestros materiales son bilingües también. Y sabemos que en ese momento, especialmente en ese momento, ya sabemos que la gente que son más afectadas son los que no tienen casas, que no tienen recursos, que son pasajeros de los buses, y también un mayor parte de nuestra comunidad no habla inglés. Somos una comunidad multilingüe. Y es bastante importante de recordar que nosotros tenemos como responsabilidad a nuestra comunidad de tener materiales y foros y cosas como así en español, también en inglés.
sí tienen razón. Bueno, nosotros subimos una página, un website que se llama altogethersantafe.org, altogethersantafe.org. Yvette y Tomás, ¿tienen ustedes una página, website, donde puede ir gente para hacer preguntas o para ayudas o para recursos? ¿Qué recomiendan puedan compartir?
Bueno, nuestra página es chainbreaker.org y también estamos en Facebook, en Instagram y en Twitter como Chainbreaker, y nos pueden encontrar en esas páginas, en esas redes sociales.
Entonces, and then Tomas and Yvette, again, we mentioned the website, and during this time, one of the things that we're seeing is that this is bringing out the best of people, because the crisis has got us thinking about just being creative, about giving, about being careful, and helping each other out. So if there are other people who do have resources or who have ideas, what can they do to help out? Because this is, again, we will get through this, and I have hope that we will, but it's getting together, getting through this together. And maybe this is something we should have been doing all along, or doing more of, and highlighting some of the good work that you all are doing. But what do we do now?
Yeah. Well, I think what we do now is we rely on each other as a community, just like we always have, like you said. And thank you. It is Chainbreakers, a lot of really good groups doing a lot of good work and have been for a long time, whether it's the slow pandemic of lack of equity and poverty and all these issues that have been harmful to our communities, or this really abrupt one of this COVID-19. I think the solution is now what it has always been, to organize, to protect each other, and to really understand that the people who need the most support are the ones that should be getting it. I think that tangibly that means the things that Yvette was bringing up in terms of our, the community care principles. Chainbreaker has been really thinking about how can we really think in terms of the immediate term, in the recovery period, and then the long term. Because after we defeat this virus as a species, we will. After that happens, we're going to be dealing with this fallout for a long time. And we cannot forget that the people who are on the front lines, who have always been on the front lines, are going to be bearing the brunt of this health and economic crisis for a long time. So it's important for us to start thinking about these things since now. As we practice social distancing and washing our hands, as we see things like eviction moratoriums, how do we make sure that those things happen, that they are meaningful, that they protect the people they're trying to protect, and that also, several months from now, they don't get lifted and all of a sudden there's a pandemic of evictions, right? So I think that we Chainbreaker is working as much as we can with our allies. We're trying to reach out to our base as much as possible, although that is very much a challenge during these times of social distancing. But we will continue to do so. Like Yvette said, there are groups like Somos un Pueblo Unido doing a lot of really good work, putting out rights information in Spanish around workers and immigrants. There's also an organization called Earth Care that is putting together a mutual aid resource kit, so folks that need things like groceries and errands, that can happen as well. So people are stepping up, and we want to just lean into that. If there's one thing that we can encourage people to do right now is remember that as people, as a community, the solution is coming together. We've always been doing that. We will continue to do that. And stay calm and wash your hands. And trust each other. Love each other.
Thank you. Well said, Tomas. So as we close up, any final comments you had, Tomas?
Just thank you for doing this. We're really excited to continue to work with the city in these ways, and now is the time to build the partnership. Just like you said, we know that there are issues that are being brought to the forefront with this pandemic, and now is the time to really deal with them. So thank you for doing this. We will continue to work with you and everybody that we can. And yeah, we would love to participate in doing something like this fully in Spanish as well when that time comes. So let us know
Absolutely.
how we can be of service.
We will take Yvette's advice, and we will do an entire show en español, backwards and forwards. Okay, so again, from Chainbreakers, wanted to thank Yvette Serrano and Tomas Rivera for joining us today. Want to thank you, our audience, for watching and listening. Again, share, let everyone know about our show, and let them know about this wonderful group and this wonderful treasure that we have here in Santa Fe. So on behalf of the mayor, the city council, the city of Santa Fe, Parks and Rec, wanted to again thank you. This is John Munoz for watching. We will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.